What's going on, everybody? Hello and welcome. In today's video, I'll be reacting to J-Hope's brand new song, More, from his upcoming album, Jack in the Box. Now, what do I know about this song? What do I know about this album? Well, probably just as much as you guys. We've seen some very creepy photos. We have this very ominous trailer, I guess we can call it, but it doesn't really give us too much information as to what the song is about or the direction of the music, except for the fact that this one might be a little bit darker than the bright, cheery J-Hope we're all used to. Now, for those of you guys that are new around here, J-Hope's my dude. Call it a bias, call it whatever you will, but J-Hope has always been my favorite member of BTS for, well, a number of different reasons. And I'm very excited about this album. From what I've seen and what we know about it, I feel like this is going to be a complete change in direction for him, and he's going to share something brand new with all of us, and that is very exciting for me. If you guys are new around here and you enjoy hanging out with me, please consider liking and subscribing. I do this sort of thing all the time. And if you want to check out my BTS journey, I have over 100 BTS reactions now available on Patreon. But what do you say we get right into the video here? And let's check this one out. All right, the video already has, oh my God, it's already got almost 15 million views. It's number 2 on trending for music right now. All right, let's check it out. There's a box, key, same beat from the trailer here.
Yeah, I'm thirsty. 필요하게 till we surfing. 나무만 나무 고기. Suck out the music.
I just realized something. I just want to stop right now just to tell you that I'm not going to stop again. I'm going to listen to this thing in its entirety and then I'll break everything down. But already I'm hearing some interesting stuff that I'm going to want to break down. But I want to hear this in its entirety without actually having pauses to kind of disrupt the flow of this, because something tells me we're in for a very flowy jam here. J-Hope's looking dark, dude.
Yeah, I'm thirsty. 필요하게 till we surfing. 나무만 나무 고기. Suck out the music. 이니 미니 마니 모. 춤추는 아기 flow. Keep my passion, I gotta go. I'm still not enough. 11년 전 각종 내 형광 밑줄은 백범매미 학봉. 끝이 없는 학습 부딪히고 넘어지면 나오는 작품.
Okay.
이 부치서도 make it move, make it mine, make it right. 또 누군가의 favorite sign. 그게 나의 손에 반 삶의 이유 삶의 나 운동력을 carry on. Bring it up.
Drag. Okay.
I'm doing it up.
I'm not stopping. Let's let it go. Let it go. There you are, J-Hope. There you are.
Good kicks near the limit. 몸이 실세 실제 make my mix that fit bag 와도 get bang 뭐든 달게 먹는 kitden 내겐 sweet tag 상호관계 좀 유익해 기름 drip해 좀
Sounds on his head.
다들 주의해 나쁜 주의해 sweet bang 멋진 gripman check it so 빨리 땡다
Freaking out so many people right now.
In there, exact. 살아 숨쉬는 것 같아. Bring it up.
Oh my God, this is so dark and creepy.
I'm doing it up. Till we surfing.
What's in the box there? Okay. All right. Oops. I've got some thoughts on this one. All right, guys, bear with me here. I didn't want to interrupt the flow of that thing, so I just kind of let it play out, and I just wanted to kind of enjoy it in its entirety without pausing every couple seconds to talk about the production. But I'm going to do that right now. There is a lot of interesting things happening here, and I believe J-Hope probably just freaked out millions of people with this video, and I could not be happier about it. First impressions of the song, my first initial just thought about this, I fucking love it, dude. I love it. I knew J-Hope always had this ability. He's a king of versatility. He can literally just do whatever he wants. He's just that good with whatever he takes up a passion for, whether it be dancing, rapping, singing, whatever it may be. And he's showing us a completely different side of himself right here. Let's go back through this video and break it down bar by bar, beat by beat, and talk about the production, the cinematography, and possibly what went into this, because we have just experienced an incredible shift from J-Hope. God, I hope the rest of the album's like this, but I don't think it's going to be, and I'll tell you why as we go through this video. But let's start this thing over and let's dig into this one. Let's dig into this one. I could not be more excited about this, honestly. All right, so we start off with this guy over here coming down this dark hallway. It looks like it's some sort of like, I don't know, like kind of crappy apartment complex, or I don't know, like dismal office building or something. And he's got a box. We see the key. All this is kind of from the trailer, including the beat right here.
Yeah, I'm thirsty. Pero happy to be surfing. Got the music.
I love the camera work.
Keep my passion, I gotta go.
And then who is this over here? It keeps going over to like a different side with J-Hope with little like black bunny ears. It leads me to believe that it might be some kind of like different version of his personality, and that's like kind of what we're seeing. I couldn't get a good look at what was actually in this box at the end of the video. I was kind of focusing on other stuff, but I'll check that out. I do have a feeling that it all ties into the box. My theory is that J-Hope is the Jack in the Box, and he's going to basically give us a bunch of different sides of himself and experiment with music that, you know, he may not have touched on when he was actively creating music with the other guys. So I think we're in for a fairly experimental album here, but I think this is like just a different version of him over here. Obviously, it's still J-Hope. It's just like kind of like, I don't know, just like a different version of himself. Maybe it's like his inner dialogue or something. I don't know. I also like the way this song kind of starts off. We have like this boombastic kind of flowy nature to it. He just kind of like rides into it. In fact, he even says he's surfing the wave of it all. I like that he says that he's thirsty for it, and it basically seems like we're slipping into the mind of madness with this song, lyrically, kind of like he's begging for more. He's talking about, you know, the 11 years he's put into this art or learning this art and studying it and doing everything, and what he's basically, after those 11 years, here's kind of like a representation of his different sides and his different personalities. But anyway, let's get back to where we are in this video right now. I think this is kind of like an extension of himself, possibly.
I'm still.
You are enough, J-Hope. Here it is. I love this scene too. He comes walking into this like dismal office building here, and he comes in with such, I guess you could call it like swag. I think it's more like an attitude type of feeling. He's coming in and he's just like very confident in his strut or his walk here. He's tossing the papers and like doing whatever while everybody's kind of at their monotonous job, or yeah, monotonous. Yeah, that's right. Monotonous job here. But I loved the scene too. He comes in with such attitude, and he looks just so different than everybody else in this office. Obviously dressed all in black with the eyeliner and everything. By the way, I love this look. It is tickling my inner goth kid. Yeah, look at this swag. I love the attitude. I honestly really like the attitude. What did he trip him there? I think that's what happened. Yeah, he's a bad boy. He's a bad boy, J-Hope. I love what he's doing here with his vocals as well. He's like drawing out and having that, you know, like that kind of like deep, not quite baritone, but more gurgly type of singing. This is what makes me believe like we're slipping into the mind of madness, kind of. I mean, this is a man who can sing very, very easily on key, and he's choosing to kind of go this like dark, kind of almost dirtier or grittier route here. Now, so far, what we've gotten from the beat too, it reminded me of kind of like a garage band style of beat. Now, think of like a drummer like in your garage learning how to play drums or whatever, just kind of how it would sound. Think of like the atmosphere of what that drum set would sound like inside of the garage, that smaller room. We're kind of getting that the entire way through this song. But what's cool about this is the drums are a little bit higher up in the mix, and it's kind of the predominant driving factor, melodically, which is pretty cool. It's got this boombastic kind of retro alternative type of thing going on. Now, if you listen closely too, there's a lot of things happening with the bass as well. Not only do we have this like really nice, big, warm and round sounding bass, but there's also an electronic element to this as well. And that is just kind of holding down these minor keys, which is just making us feel a little pensive, a little bit eerie. Mix that together with J-Hope's kind of gurgly voice right here and the kind of like the low tempo of it all, or the down tempo of it. And it kind of makes you feel like you are slipping into that mind of madness. Love the camera work here too, how it goes in between the rooms. And this just got me so excited when I saw this frame over here, and I'm like, oh, here we go. Oh, it is a garage too. He's actually literally in the garage. I can see like the tools and stuff. I didn't even catch that the first time. This frame here got me very excited when I first saw this. I'm like, okay, here we go. We got J-Hope in front of a rock band, and he's just, he's playing the lead vocalist like in this style of music very, very well with his movements and his dancing and his like schizophrenic dancing. Now, what we know from J-Hope, obviously the dude can dance. Like he's like, this is his specialty. But not only can he dance with the best of them and do some crazy wild choreography and everything, he can also take this genre of music and make it look very, very good. Make no mistake, his movements here in this scene, in this little hook we're about to get to, is choreography in itself, and it should not be forgotten. But here we are. We're getting to the main chorus here, and there's a lot of fun things happening here. Yes, does it sound like 3 power chords? Yeah, but there's a lot more to it. There's underlying tones and even like sub melodies within just this very short chorus that we have here. Surprising. I was not expecting power chords in a full live band from Jack in the Box, but I was pleasantly surprised. But let's pay attention to the choreography, and then I'm going to break down the main hook here that I'm assuming is, the main hook here. I love the crunch of the drums. Okay, yeah, relentless, and it jumps us right back to the beat here. Let's break this down, and I want to talk about why this is so sonically pleasing, besides the fact that it's something completely new for J-Hope. Now, obviously, yeah, we have that our 3 major power chords here, but there's actually a lot going on in the layering aspect of this. First things first, if you listen closely, there's actually like a slight kind of like eerie minor choir string type sound in the background that's following the exact same progressive pattern as the guitars itself, which kind of gives, that gritty alternative guitar a chimier, almost brighter feel to it. It just makes it feel that much more epic. There's also an electronic stab, which is almost kind of like a bass drop. You ever hear a bass drop? That is like that kind of thing. They got kind of like this thing going on, but instead of the bass being way up, they turn that down and have a higher frequency, so it actually has more of a whoosh sound, which works really well with the what I'm going to call the choir underneath the guitar and the guitar mixed together. You got gritty guitar, you got bright, kind of eerie minor choir, and then mixed together with just a touch of electronic elements. Now, that's what we got going on from the melodies, but again, let's not forget about the drums in this song, because the drums are kind of the main melodic force. I know that sounds strange coming from a percussive instrument, but I kind of get that vibe from this thing. So as we're getting into the chorus here, the drums themselves have been mastered and produced to like the highest level. Like that, basically that means is like when you hit a cymbal, it doesn't have like a huge crash sound. It doesn't sound like a window smashing. It sounds like it's kind of hissing out. Now it makes the drum sound wide and really, really clean and polished, but you do lose some of the dynamics in that range. But that's okay, because the production on the choir we heard from the guitar and that little whoosh kind of bass drop sound is making up for it. So clever production techniques in this chorus. So maybe it just sounds like 3 major chords coming, and that's why you think it's catchy, but there's a lot more going on. Let's talk about what J-Hope is actually doing here in his vocals and the effects that he's using and possibly why he's using them. Okay, so we have the do no no now, and then that's the chord, the progression we have, which is very catchy, especially with all the things I just explained. But then you have J-Hope's his melodic approach to this as well, which is doot 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 doot. So this is basically kind of like the melodic structure of what we have going on. But what's going on with his voice? Why does it sound like he's singing like a mile away? What is that effect? Well, that effect is called slapback with a little bit of reverb on it. And I believe he's using this effect for a very specific reason. I don't think it's kind of him shying away from, having the screams up and center. I think this again touches on that kind of slipping into the mind of madness kind of thing. It feels like he's almost reassuring himself or screaming at himself, like that he wants more. Like that's just kind of the vibe I'm getting from this. But that slapback effect again kind of just makes it seem a little bit more eerie. And I like the I like his melodic verse right here. I think it's just awesome, especially with that very simple 3-chord power chord progression. But this is a different side. This is a completely different side. And then obviously, yeah, when we come together and we get the choreography, what I'm calling his dancing, it's just it's an incredible visual, especially with the masks and everything we see too. It's pretty wild. And then it's relentless, right back in the verse. They also changed the snare up here as well. If you know anything about the snare instruments, there's these things called snares underneath them, and the drummer who's using this is playing with a click on the side of it, which makes it an open or closed snare. So it's a slightly different snare, so it sounds a little bit like kind of bigger, like a big band type of vibe to it. That mixed together with what's known as atmospheric compression is giving us this really nice super wide feeling. Now we're slipping into the bass here. Now we're getting more like an organic tone, but keep in mind too, if you listen very, very closely on the underlying belly of all of this, we still have that minor kind of electronic eerie bass note, which is really keeping things kind of pensive and kind of dark and gritty. Where's on his head? Bag all the trophies and the Grammys too. I can imagine this whole scene right here, the X-ray version of him, freaking a lot of BTS fans out. Man, I'm so curious to see what you guys think of this and what you think J-Hope is doing right now. To me personally, J-Hope is speaking my language. This is my realm of music and what I specialize in. So this is making me very excited. But I'm curious about what you guys think. I would imagine this would be freaking a lot of you guys out. But just all I was gonna say is give him a chance. Give him a chance. I have a feeling it's gonna be a very dynamic and different album. But okay, so in this line here, he's talking about bagging all the trophies and the Grammys and everything too. And he's basically kind of begging and screaming out that he wants more. Like this is his art form. Like, and if he just stops doing it, he's gonna kind of lose his passion for it. But he doesn't want to be pigeonholed into one direction of music, one stylistic version of this medium. You know what I mean? Like he wants to explore all of these things. He's spent the last 11 years, the culmination of all of his work and his work ethic and everything has kind of led us to this point. Let's let him experiment. Let's let J-Hope get a little bit weird. Let's let him slip into the mind of madness and just show us a different side, a darker side. Anyway, I think he's kind of throwing some shade at here about not winning the Grammy. As we all know, BTS was robbed of the Grammys, but I mean, hey, they still put on, I would say, the best show of the evening. But I think this might be kind of throwing shade at that as well. But he's also, I think, saying like he might not even care about the awards. Like he cares about performing in the art form, but I don't think he's really too concerned with like another trophy on the shelf, At least that's the vibe I'm getting. There it is, that this is a cool little eerie part over here too. This is where like we're kind of taking we're thinning everything out, and then a new instrument is added to the mix. We're getting Rhodes synth, which sounds very pretty. Normally this instrument is used in even some funk or like R&B styles of music. There's like those very pleasant little chimey tones. Some people might even confuse it with like a modulated bells, but it's actually a Rhodes is what they're called. It's kind of like an xylophone mixed together with an organ, but it's used a lot in funk and R&B and stuff like that. But this kind of just slips us back into like the calming groove factor of what this was. At this point, you know, J-Hope was just yelling at us with the same slapback effect that we have in the main chorus here. So he wants to kind of take us out of that aggressive immersion and just bring us back into this like kind of like low key, just kind of chilled out vibe of the beat. You know, the beat is pretty much the same the entire way through, but there's just different modulations on the drums, which is just signifying a different vibe of the part of the song. All this in mind too, keep in mind, we're only 2 minutes into this song and all this stuff has happened.
Exact.
Relax, inhale, exhale. Cinematography here, the camera work is awesome. The office here, papers and stuff going everywhere. Now this right here, this is probably my favorite part of the entire music video. I think this is the coolest scene right here. Very Matrix-esque, you know, flying through like what looks like time. And we got glass shards and everything everywhere, and it's all just kind of sitting, you know, just floating in the air. But when this kicks in, everything just crashes down, and it just feels like you're just like, yeah, J-Hope, go fucking nuts, man. Just like destroy everything, smash everything. Like my inner rage is coming out. Like this is almost a therapeutic experience. This right here is I think is my favorite cut of the whole thing. Here we go. Love the smashing glass.
Yeah, I'm thirsty. Better weather to reserve it.
I love the wobbly synth too.
Suck out the music. Yeah. Mini money mo. 춤추는 knock it out. Keep my passion, I gotta go. I'm still 99.
Okay, hold on a second here. Okay, I think that's actually just different rooms that from the shots of the music video. Yeah, this right here is the hallway, kind of like that creepy hallway. There's the office, I think. The office, the bedroom, the garage, or this is possibly the garage. It's kind of hard to tell. So I think this is just different versions of the room of this music video. Okay, very, very interesting. I didn't know if that was like a sneak peek into the next one or anything, but I think that's just like different sets from this music video. And he closes it up. Nice and neat. Okay. That is more from J-Hope, and I gotta say, honestly, I'm pleasantly surprised. I mean, J-Hope is a jack of all trades, and I think in this album, J-Hope is legit going to be the jack in the box. Now, I would love for this entire album, nothing would make me happier if this entire album sounded like this, and it had this really cool, gritty, kind of retro, alternative, grimy rock feel to it. Like, that's my wheelhouse. I love that stuff, and if J-Hope did an entire album like that, I would lose my goddamn mind. I don't think that's what this album is going to be about. I think each one of these little boxes are going to be different sides of his personality. Now, I mentioned before that J-Hope is just a master at versatility and just being able to do what he wants to do. Spending this much time, this much dedication in this medium of an art form, he's been kind of limited into, you know, the thought process and the ideas of 6 other dudes. You know what I mean? Like, that's not a bad thing. Like, we all know when these 7 dudes come together, magic happens. It's beautiful. And I think we all are fans and we all love that. But you got to keep in mind, like, when you're limited to your small part because you need to, you know, share the stage with 6 other people, it can kind of stifle some of your creativity. It's not a bad thing always, but in the back of your mind, when you're an artist like any one of these members of BTS, like, it's probably kind of wearing on you a little bit. Anyway, back to what I think this album might be about. I think it's going to be a bunch of different little things. I wish it would be all grimy and all rocky and have like this kind of vibe and dark vibe the entire way through. And hey, maybe it is. Maybe it is. But something tells me that this Jack in the Box theme that we're getting is J-Hope, who is the Jack in the box. And he's just able to be a jack of all trades. And he's going to show off all the different styles of music that he's wanted to kind of touch on probably throughout the past 11 years. But this is a badass song. Honestly, to this date right now, this is my absolute favorite J-Hope song. I'm so happy that he gave this to us, and he shared this with us. And I couldn't have asked for anything more. You know what I mean? I'm literally on cloud nine right now. J-Hope just wrote a grimy alternative rock tune, and I knew he had it in him. I knew he had it in him. Like, there's something every once in a while, J-Hope just like does something like, you know, like Outro Tear, or he does something a little bit grittier, or a little bit, you know, distant from that very shiny, bubbly personality that we all love and enjoy, that kind of just shocks you. And you're like, oh my God, where are you taking me right now? And those are some of my favorite J-Hope moments, because it takes you out of the immersion of what J-Hope is, and or what you think he is, you know, because we might think we know the guy. You might think you've been following him for however many years and you're the biggest army or whatever, but we don't. We don't know the inner workings of this guy. We don't know what he's feeling all the time. We don't know, like, we only know what he's willing to share with us. And albeit it's kind of a lot, you know, with the candid moments we get from him and everything over the years, but with those cameras turned off, we don't know, you know, what's going through his head. I love it. I love More. This is my new favorite J-Hope song, and I could not be more excited for this album to drop. Now, what is it, the 15th of this month? I'll be doing a live album reaction track by track on that album. I'll be doing it on Twitch. So if you're not subscribed already on Twitch or following on Twitch, whatever it's called, check out the link down below. And seriously, if you want to join me for that, because I'm going to be breaking down each track just like I did with this one. And that's what I've always done. I've done it for every BTS album so far. So obviously, I'm going to do it for what might be my favorite J-Hope album to date. But I'm excited. What do you think? Where do you think this album is going to go? Do you think it's going to be a dark, grimier kind of alternative style like we saw with More? Or do you kind of agree with me and think that it's probably going to be J-Hope being a jack of all trades and bouncing around to different genres of music? I don't know. I'd love to hear from you guys. I'm really curious to see what the army thinks about More, because this is a shock. This is a shock for sure. And I have a feeling some people might not like it. But all I can say to the people that find this a little disturbing or a little bit weird or not in their normal wheelhouse of what they enjoy, just give it a shot. Let J-Hope be the versatile artist that he is, and just let him do his thing. And I think we're all going to be very surprised on July 15th when Jack in the Box releases. Anyway, guys, that's going to do it for me here today. I hope you enjoyed my video. If you enjoyed hanging out, please consider liking and subscribing. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye, everybody.